my channel. Do I have a story for you or what?
Tonight, but nobody can see you. I'm stuck inside.
The reason I'm telling this story is because it's part of the reason I have been just like gone for the past 4 years. So it's really important for me to tell this story because I know that I'm not the only one that this has happened to. I know there's so many other people who are going through this and going through other like versions of this. And I hope that they can see that even if it takes you 4 years to get up and start living for yourself again, like, you have to do it. So on to the story. So about 2013. This was in about 2013. So I was really heavily doing my music, writing music, putting up music videos, and meeting with a ton of producers. And me and my family were always just going to New York, or going to Philadelphia, going here or there, networking, and trying to really get my music out there. Okay, so we just so happened to come across this guy, and he was introduced to us from my dad's work friend. My dad's friend said I graduated from Berkeley, and I went to college with someone who is a former A&R with Universal and is breaking off and is starting kind of their own production company and is looking to manage and develop artists. You should send him your stuff and I'll give you his contact information and we'll get in contact. I mean, you have to imagine just how excited you are, So we contacted this guy and sent him all of my, my press kit, and he really likes it. And he says, I'm talented, and he's interested in meeting and setting up an audition in person. Now, mind you, this guy lives in Atlanta, and we had looked him up, and he was legitimate. He worked with Universal, he was an A&R, he had pictures with P. Diddy, and he was legit. So we are extremely excited as a family, of course. I'm over the moon. This is something that I've been working for. So the audition itself was it was incredible. He flew from Atlanta to Ohio. We had an entire high school auditorium rented out with and it was nice lights in the background, and I had my background dancers and costume, and we did this performance, and it was just him and my parents, my dancers, and we did a performance to kind of audition the material. And then he came back to my house after for dinner and just to talk about the opportunities and if he liked what he saw. And so when we get back to the house, things are going incredible, and he loved it. He thought I was great. He starts talking to my entire family at this giant dining table for hours about how talking to a whole family for hours about how he had this whole plan and everything about the music industry. I mean, I actually did. The one thing I can say about this is I did learn a lot from him about the music industry, and he told us a ton of stuff, like hours. We're just, and all his stories about famous people, and then he starts talking about, what we're gonna do with the plan for me, about how we're gonna package me, and he literally broke it down into quarters, like summer, winter, whatever, into quarters. And he was saying my album was going to be released within the next quarter, and it was going to be big, and we were going to get it pushed to the right people, and how anything can be a hit as long as the right people push it. And he's just getting me all pumped up. And so he goes back to Atlanta, and we're communicating back and forth. I'm sending him pictures and sending music, and we're sending ideas back and forth as far as a game plan. So looking back, I realized that this probably was sign one. But sign one, he started with my weight, and I remember him telling me I need to lose weight, I need to lose weight, and I was sending him pictures every single week of me on the scale with my weight showing how I was losing weight every week. And he's like, oh, that's good, but you need to lose more, I don't really know if you want it, you don't seem like you want it that much, you need to lose more weight, you need to do this, you need to do that. And so I'm doing all of these things, and now looking back, I kind of feel like he was grooming me a little bit, which kind of sucks. A lot of this stuff, you have to realize this is the first time I'm even saying any of this out loud, ever. So Like, some of this is clicking in my head as I'm saying it, and some of it I have thought about later, but have never just said. So, yeah, he was probably grooming me with that, but like, kind of just getting me to do all these things because of how passionate I was about it and how badly I wanted this. Then all of a sudden, and now I know this was all a part of his dirty little plan, but all of a sudden he says, you know, you've been losing a little weight and you've been working on some things I've been asking you to work for, but I don't know if I can work with you. I don't know if you really want it badly enough. So my heart explodes because this is all I've been doing since I was a little girl. What can I do differently? Like, how can I get better? What's the problem? Everything was good. You liked my music. You liked everything. And now you think I don't want it bad enough. I want it. That's not the problem. So we're having this messaging conversation back and forth. And someone just has handed me my dream and says that I'm going to have this big album released in a few months, and is saying, you know, no, all of a sudden, like, you don't want it bad enough after putting in all this work. And so I'm like, what can I do? You know, I'll do anything. I'm losing weight. I've been running and singing. I've been doing, like, what do you want me to do? And that goes on for a while until it all of a sudden takes a little bit of a turn. And this affected me a lot more than I think I have ever let anyone even know. It has affected me. No one even knows about this still. Okay. So the conversation takes a little bit of a turn. And he starts to say, well, you know, you have to be willing to work with me. Really, you know, we have to be really close. You have to be able and willing to be really close and comfortable with me. And I'm like, okay, so what do you mean? And it just gets weirder and weirder from that point on. He just starts to say, you know, you're going to have to start making me feel good. And I'm like, what? And you have to, like, the range of emotion that I just went through, from being on top of the world to someone saying, like, taking that away, like, just like that, and then saying, well, you have to make me feel good. And I'm like, what? And then he starts to say, you know, like, with your hands. And he's talking to me like I'm like 6, which I was definitely younger, but not that young. So it was strange. And then he's talking about tickling, and just, it gets weird. It just gets very strange. And so I just stopped texting back. And I knew exactly what he wanted. I knew exactly what he was doing at that moment. It all hit me like a ton of bricks, and it sucked so bad. Because I honestly was so naive through the whole thing, because he kept talking to my family and was talking about God so much, and he prayed with my family and all of this. So it was so confusing. I know, okay, so all of these, you know, hopes and dreams and losing weight and all the songs I've been writing and working on and recording, and, you know, the music video ideas and all of that and just staying up for hours and just dreaming and feeling like everything you've worked for was so close to you, and like having that confirmation from someone so legitimate that this was it, and then being told, you know, but you're gonna have to make me feel good however I want to feel good, whenever I want to feel good. It just rattles you. And it did. It really rattled me for a long time, because after that point, how do you want to work with people again? I feel so naive because at first what I was saying was like, you know, I'll do anything you want. Like, I'll do anything. I'll work really hard. What do you want? Not thinking that's what he wanted. So, like, that's embarrassing as it is to, like, you know, just be so naive and then to just feel so used. But then you have to also break the fact that, like, this dream is not going to happen anymore. And that wasn't just a letdown for me, it was a letdown for my family too. You know, I told my mom and told my dad. Oh. But after that, he messaged me and basically told me, you know, if I can't handle that type of thing, then I'm in the wrong industry. And I'm never gonna find work, because if I can't handle that, like, I'm never gonna get work. As a songwriter, you have to rely on people. You have to rely on, like, a producer, and you spend hours with people by yourself, and you are just very exposed. You're always with someone who's in a more powerful position than you. And after that happened, and after that not necessarily being the first time something like that's happened, it's just like working with people got so much harder for me, and trusting people got so much harder for me. It already was hard to begin with. That was kind of like the straw that broke the camel's back, I guess. I let him win for a very long time. For a very long time, I stayed quiet. I stopped making music. I would write music and just let it sit there and die. They just messed with me a lot. And so the point of this, and what I've learned from this, is you can't let people win. You can't let people go on living their lives just fine while you're suffering. At some point, you have to pull yourself up and dust yourself off and try it again and get back on it. And that's what I'm doing. I'm working on a new music project that I'm really proud of, because I'm making all of the tracks for this album by myself, because I'm done waiting on people. I'm done letting people win. I'm done letting other people say I'm not good enough. I'm done with all of that. And I'm just gonna do it my way, for me. And if anyone likes it and can relate to what I'm saying and can maybe help them along the way, that's great. And if not, I don't care, because this is all for me now. So if anyone, and I'm sure there are lots of people, felt held down by someone or felt broken by someone, you have to get back up. You can't let them win. You have the strength to do it, and it's hard, but find people to talk to, find your inner strength. Even if you don't talk to anyone, find your inner strength that tells you that you're worth it, because you are. So don't let anyone stop you, ever, no matter what. Don't let anyone stop you. If you have a story like this, I'd love to hear. Comment below if you'd like. Message me personally. I'd love to hear your story. I hope sharing my story helps a little bit, because I am in so much of a better place now. I have found love, I have found happiness, and I have found my passion. There are going to be people who try to keep you down. That's life. People are going to come along and try to make you fail, make you want to never leave again, to never trust anyone, but you have to. Not for them, for you. So thank you for watching this story time. I hope it wasn't too sad. I didn't think I was actually going to get emotional, if I'm being honest. Thanks again for watching LisaGTV. I have new videos up every Friday and Sunday. They're going to be story times, covers of me singing, original music, acoustic songs, music videos, dance videos, more story times, more drama, more things. So tune in and I hope I see you there.